Internet. You know, some stuff happened this week we should probably talk about. Also, how was your 4th of July? I hope it was better than theirs. I know, right? Anyways, let's get into it. Alice, what do we have up first?
One July 5th reports that lab tests have confirmed the powder found in the lobby of the White House West Wing is cocaine. The substance was discovered during a routine sweep by U.S. Secret Service agents on Sunday, contained in a small, clear plastic bag. President Joe Biden, who was at Camp David during the discovery, has been briefed and emphasized the importance of determining how the drugs ended up there. The White House was briefly evacuated as a precaution, and the fire department was called in to test the substance. The initial test came back positive for cocaine, and a secondary, more sensitive lab analysis confirmed the results. The Secret Service, responsible for White House security, is currently investigating the incident, reviewing visitor logs and security footage. The lobby where the drugs were found is a heavily trafficked area, used by official visitors, staffers, and for staff-led tours of the West Wing during non-working hours. If a White House employee brought in the drugs, it would be easier to identify them since staff are fingerprinted and subjected to drug tests. However, identifying a visitor would be more challenging. The Secret Service has stated that an investigation into how the cocaine entered the White House is ongoing.
Yep, that's right. The White House. The place where decisions that affect millions of lives are made. It's also apparently a place to pick up some top quality coke. Anyone try to go snowboarding? Tell you where to get it. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the sheer level of stupid this would take. I mean, you don't just forget your coke is sitting in your pocket, right? Now let's talk about the actual implications of this, because this isn't just about a bag of cocaine. It's about the stark contrast between the lives of those who walk the corridors of power and the lives of ordinary Americans. If this had happened in a low-income neighborhood, you can bet that there would be police swarming the area. Arrests would be made and lives would be ruined. But when it happens in the White House, it's just another investigation. It's a clear demonstration of the inequality that pervades our society. The rich and powerful live by a different set of rules, while the rest of us are left to deal with the consequences of their actions. So, while we can laugh at the absurdity of the situation, let's not forget what's really going on here. Because it's not enough to just point out the problem. We need to fight for a change. And that, everyone, starts with holding our leadership accountable. Whether it's for their policies, their actions, or their mysterious bags of cocaine. Up next!
The article reports that best-selling authors Mona Awad and Paul Tremblay have filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, alleging copyright infringement. The authors claim that OpenAI's AI chatbot, ChatGPT, was trained using their novels without their consent. The AI chatbot, powered by large language models, uses vast amounts of text to generate natural responses to user prompts. The authors argue that detailed summaries of their books produced by ChatGPT serve as proof that their works were used in its training. The lawsuit alleges that OpenAI used copyrighted works, including books by Awad and Tremblay, to train its AI models without consent, credit, or compensation. The suit also claims that books have been a significant component in training datasets for large language models due to their high-quality long-form writing. The article also mentions that OpenAI trained its first model, GPT-1, using book corpus, a dataset assembled by AI researchers in 2015, which included over 7,000 unpublished books from various genres. These books were copied from Smashwords.com, a website hosting unpublished novels available for free, but still under copyright. The lawsuit further states that later iterations of OpenAI's models were trained using larger quantities of copyright-protected books. For instance, in a 2020 paper introducing GPT-3, OpenAI revealed that 15% of the training data came from two internet-based books corpora, referred to as Books 1 and Books 2. The suit argues that OpenAI's language models are infringing derivative works, made without the author's permission, and in violation of their exclusive rights under the Copyright Act. In addition to this, a broader class action suit was filed by a public interest law firm, Clarkson, on behalf of anonymous clients, accusing OpenAI of lifting private, sometimes identifying information from internet users without their informed consent or knowledge. Experts predict more lawsuits as AI becomes more proficient at using information from the web to generate new content.
So let's talk about the murky waters that is artificial intelligence, copyright infringement, and the ever-blurring line between fair use and, hey, that's my stuff. Now, author Mona Awad and Paul Tremblay have decided they've had enough and filed lawsuit against the creators of ChatGPT, OpenAI, which I might have to agree with them, because in a world where we're overpaying for everything from bottled water to extra legroom on a flight, it's only fair that authors get paid for the work they do. I mean, imagine you're an author. You spent countless hours and days, even years, pouring your heart and soul into a book, and then one day you find out that a robot's been using your work to sound smarter. It's like finding out your dog's been selling your diary entries this whole time. But here's where things get tricky. OpenAI argues that it's all fair use. Now, fair use is a concept that allows limited use of copyrighted material without permission from the owner. In other words, this suit represents more than the money involved. It's about IP and recognizing that even in the age of AI, human creativity still matters. It's about ensuring that as technology advances, it doesn't trample over the rights of individuals. So here's my thoughts. It's pretty obvious we need a system in where writers, artists, really anyone whose work can be used to train an AI get paid. Because at the end of the day, artificial intelligence wouldn't be able to do what it does without the real thing to start with. And to all the authors out there, keep fighting the good fight. Because your words matter, your work matters, and yes, you absolutely deserve to get paid for it. Moving on.
Reports that former President Donald Trump posted what he claimed was the home address of former President Barack Obama on his social media platform, Truth Social, on the same day a man was arrested near the property with guns in his van. The arrested man, Taylor Taranto, 37, is said to have participated in the January 6, 2021, riot at the U.S. Capitol. He had 2 firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition in his van, which he had driven cross-country and had been living in. On the day of his arrest, June 29th, Taranto reposted Trump's post containing what was claimed to be Obama's home address. He also made a post on Telegram, stating, "We got these losers surrounded. See you in hell, Podestas and Obamas." This is a reference to John Podesta, the former chair of Hillary Clinton's 2016 Democratic presidential campaign. Taranto also told followers on his YouTube livestream that he was looking to get a good angle on a shot. His lawyer argues that he is not a flight risk, has a family in Washington state, and served in Iraq before being honorably discharged from the U.S. Navy. Taranto's wife told investigators that he had come to Washington this time because of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's offer earlier this year to produce unseen video of the January 6th attack. Taranto already faces 4 misdemeanor counts related to the Capitol assault. The FBI had been monitoring Taranto's online activities because of his involvement in the riot. He was arrested after he asserted on his YouTube livestream that he was on a one-way mission and intended to blow up the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The next day, he continued his live stream from the Washington neighborhood where Obama lives, saying that he was looking for entrance points and wanted to get a good angle on a shot. He was spotted by law enforcement a few blocks from the former president's home and fled, but was chased by Secret Service officers.
I'm sorry. I need a second to really just take in how fucking stupid this is. I mean, this is just some top tier, grade A level of dumbassery. We got former presidents doxing each other. Now, if you're not familiar with the term doxing, it's the act of publicly revealing previously private information about an individual, usually with some malicious intent. It's the kind of thing you'd expect from a teenager in some heated online gaming nonsense. Not that gaming's nonsense. Go visit my Twitch, twitch.tv/theDigiman. The hell was that? Not from a former leader of the free world. Apparently, we live in a world where Call of Duty trash talk and presidential behavior are like this. Cool. Just imagine for a moment if any other profession started behaving this way. Oh, you don't like my root canal, Mr. Johnson? Well then, let me just tweet out your home address real quick. Yeah, baby. Shit's so stupid. Now, let's not overlook how serious this is. We're talking about a former president allegedly revealing the home address of another former president. This isn't like leaking your annoying neighbor's email. This is potentially endangering national security and the safety of individuals who have dedicated their lives to public service. But hey, why stop at doxing? Why not go full Real Housewives? Let's just start flipping tables at state dinners and pulling off wigs at the UN General Assembly. I mean, if we're throwing decorum out the window, let's at least make it entertaining. In all seriousness, this is a dangerous precedent to set. It's a stark reminder that just because you can do something on the internet doesn't mean you should. Especially when you're a public figure with a following that can turn your irresponsible actions into real-world harm. So, for all former, current, and future presidents out there, here's a piece of advice. If you're finding yourself itching to dox somebody, maybe just log off for a bit. You know, go for a walk, read a book, do literally anything else. Because all you're proving is that you're a bunch of children, and that maybe we should rethink who we're trusting with all the power in the world. No one wants to win first place in the stupid awards. And now, this.
Gerson Fuentes, a 28-year-old Ohio man, was sentenced to life in prison after raping a 10-year-old girl. The victim had to travel to Indiana for an abortion because of Ohio's strict abortion laws. The case caught the public's attention when the obstetrician-gynecologist who performed the procedure, Dr. Caitlin Bernard, spoke to a journalist about it. Fuentes pleaded guilty and may be eligible for parole after 25 years, at which point he would have to register as a sex offender. Judge Julie Lynch described the plea deal as a very hard pill for this court to swallow, but went along with the victim's family's request. Bernard was contacted to perform the procedure due to Ohio's ban on abortions after the detection of a fetal heartbeat. She was fined $3,000 and reprimanded for speaking about the case and allegedly violating medical privacy laws, though her license wasn't suspended. Bernard's aim was to highlight the difficulties facing pregnant women in states with severe abortion restrictions. Despite this controversy, Indiana has passed a near-total abortion ban, barring exceptions for rape, incest, or threats to the mother's health and life.
At first, let's talk about Gerson Fuentes. Bye-bye. You're garbage. I think that about covers it. Let's move on to Dr. Caitlin Bernard, the brave doctor who performed the procedure and later got fined for talking about it. That's right, fined. As in, you committed a crime, so you need to pay up, here's your ticket. She didn't get a thank you for highlighting a genuine, pressing issue. She got slapped down by the law. She wanted to show people what the reality looks like under the strict abortion laws. You know, sort of like Scrooge seeing the ghost of Christmas future, except instead of silent, shrouded figures, it's a 10-year-old child in a horrifying situation. And what does Indiana do after this debacle? Double down, of course. They introduced a near total abortion ban, with the exceptions for rape, incest, and threats to the mother's health and life. Which sounds good on paper until you realize that, oh wait, these exceptions are often nearly impossible to prove until it's too late. And that we're back to traumatized children on the road trips. It's as if our lawmakers took a choose-your-own-adventure book and said, let's go with the option where we punish victims, restrict women's rights, and, make everyone's lives more difficult. That sounds fun. Man, I really gotta get that checked. I don't know where that sound's coming from. Sorry. Anyways, in the richest country in the world, I think it's about high time we start treating women and girls with the dignity and respect they deserve. So here's a novel idea. How about we respect women's autonomy, prioritize their health, and stop legislating like we're in the 1700s? Anyways, folks, that about does it for today's weekly roundup. And don't forget to leave us a follow so you can catch our Monday through Friday short series, Insight Bites, where our lovely Alice takes a look at the stories that aren't quite getting the attention we think they should be getting. Until next time, Internet, I miss you already.